The Galactic Academy of Strategic Excellence floated in high orbit above Zenthri Prime, a monument to interstellar cooperation and military prowess. For 3 centuries, the galaxy's finest warriors had trained within its crystalline halls, learning the ancient arts of combat and tactical superiority. The Academy had never seen defeat in its ceremonial trials, and its students carried themselves with the arrogance that came from belonging to apex species. Alice Martinez was an anomaly. She stood barely 5.5 feet tall, her frame slight compared to the towering Krellian shock troopers, or the armored Vexstar battle priests who filled the Academy's corridors. Her species, humanity, had only joined the Galactic Council 17 standard years prior, newcomers in a galaxy that measured history in millennia. The other cadets treated her presence as a curiosity at best, an insult at worst. The human should not be here, hissed Velcros, a Zenthri noble whose crystalline exoskeleton gleamed under the Academy's artificial suns. His 6 eyes tracked Alice as she walked toward the training pavilion, her worn boots barely making a sound. These trials are for warriors, not for prey species playing at war. Quinn Foster, Alice's only friend at the Academy, and her fellow human, shot Velcros a warning glance. Where Alice was compact and precise, Quinn stood tall and broad-shouldered, his frame built from years of Earth's natural gravity. "I'd watch what you say," he muttered. "You haven't seen what she can do." Velcro's mandibles clicked in what passed for Zenthri laughter. "Your female is half the size of our younglings. What lesson could she possibly teach?" Quinn smiled grimly. That's what the last 4 cadets thought. The incident began during the Trial of Supremacy, a combat assessment where cadets faced increasingly difficult scenarios. In the Academy's holographic combat arena, Alice had performed adequately in previous trials, earning middling scores that kept her instructors from questioning humanity's place at the Academy. She preferred it that way, quiet, unnoticed, learning. But Velcros and his cohort had decided that quiet was no longer acceptable. They cornered her in the pre-staging area, a dimly lit chamber where cadets prepared their equipment before entering the arena. 7 of them, representing 5 different species, each one a decorated warrior from proud lineages. Velcros stood at their center, his crystalline plates reflecting fractured light across the walls. "Human," he said, the translator rendering his words with dripping contempt. "You'll withdraw from today's trial. Tell the instructors you are injured, that your fragile biology cannot withstand our training. Return to your primitive planet before you embarrass yourself further." Alice looked up from checking her combat harness, her dark eyes meeting Velcro's central pair. "No." The chamber fell silent. "You dare refuse?" A Vexstar named Crom stepped forward, his forearms flexing with barely contained aggression. "We are being generous. Leave now, or we will make you understand your place." Alice's expression didn't change. She simply finished securing her harness, her movements deliberate and calm. Quinn, watching from the corridor outside, recognized that calm. He'd seen it before, back on Earth, in the underground fighting circuits where Alice had earned the credits to apply to the Academy. "Last chance." "Human," Velcros growled. Alice looked at each of them in turn, her gaze clinical, assessing. Then she spoke, her voice quiet, but carrying clearly in the confined space. "You've made a mistake." Crom lunged first. What happened next would be analyzed in Academy tactical courses for decades to come. Alice didn't retreat. Instead, she moved into Crom's charge, her smaller frame slipping beneath his grasping arms with liquid precision. Her elbow struck upward, finding the vulnerable nerve cluster beneath his thoracic plate, a weakness she'd spent weeks studying in the Academy's biological databases. Crom's battle cry became a wheeze as his nervous system seized. She used his falling body as a springboard, launching herself at a Krell shock trooper whose species prided itself on impenetrable scales. Her knee found his eye socket, one of 3 soft points on a Krellian's entire body. He staggered backward, roaring. Velcros moved with serpentine speed, his crystalline claws extended to slash. Alice twisted midair, her hand catching his wrist and using his own momentum to redirect him into 2 of his companions. The Zenthri's exoskeleton was nearly indestructible, but Alice had learned something during her time at the Academy. Every species had evolved, for their homeworld's specific conditions, She stomped down on the floor plating, activating the gravity fluctuation. She'd rigged earlier a minor modification to the staging area's systems that Quinn had helped her program. The gravity spiked suddenly to 3 times galactic standard, approximating Earth's crushing pull. To Alice, raised under that weight since birth, it was like coming home. To the others, it was catastrophic. Velcro's S-crystalline structure, evolved in Zenthree's low gravity, began to fracture under its own weight. The Vexstar warriors, built for agility in light environments, collapsed to their knees. Even the Krellian, tough as he was, struggled to rise. Alice walked calmly between them, her breathing steady. She knelt beside Velcro's, meeting his pained gaze. "My species evolved on a death world," she said softly. "We climbed to the top of our food chain not because we were the strongest, or the fastest, or the most heavily armored. We got there because we learned. We adapted. We studied our prey and our predators until we understood exactly how to kill both." She stood, returning the gravity to normal. The aliens gasped as the pressure lifted. "You cornered me thinking I was weak because I'm small. But you never asked why Earth produces soldiers half your size who can keep pace with you." She looked at each of them. "It's because every day of our lives, we train under gravity that would crush you. Every breath is exercise. Every step is resistance training. We don't just learn to fight, we're forged by our own planet to be survivors." Quinn appeared in the doorway, grinning. "Trial starts in 5 minutes. Alice, you good?" "I'm good." She stepped over Crom's still wheezing form. "Tell them I'll be in the arena." Standard rules. As she left, Velcro's managed to croak out a question. What are you?" Alice paused at the threshold. "Human, and you just learned why we don't stay prey for long." She scored the highest marks in Academy history that day. The lesson, as Quinn had predicted, was indeed brutal, but not in the way anyone had expected. The galaxy learned that humanity hadn't asked to join the Galactic Council's military academy. They'd been invited after their combat effectiveness had been observed during the border conflicts. They'd been invited because when humanity went to war, they studied their enemies with the patience of predators and struck with the precision of evolution's finest hunters. Velcro's never challenged another human again. Few did, after word spread about what happened in that staging area. The humans were small, yes, fragile perhaps by galactic standards, but they were survivors of Earth, and Earth did not raise prey.